Hello everyone, this is JasonGamingKing here. I'm doing my second installment of Road to 1500. In today's video, I will be playing with the white pieces, and I will be playing against a 1400 ELO player who I was playing in a tournament hosted by Life of Should Drive. I would suggest you check out his channel, so shout out to him. He is a very chill player. He never really ever rages. Very much a vibe. And he hosts a lot of tournaments. He normally hosts 2 per day in each of his streams, and he streams every day. So check him out. I will link his channel in the description. And let's get started on this game. So, actually, before I get started, I will admit that in this game, I was already fairly deep into this tournament, and I lost every single game. I was four losses in a row. So I was quite tilted. I was very stubborn in the beginning, wanting just to play what I wanted to play, and while I did recover quickly and calm down, and in the end game I did play a few quite good moves, I believe. While I haven't looked at the engine for game review in detail, so like I would keep this all raw as my own opinions, which I would plan to do for all of these Road to 1500 videos. I can just tell from the accuracy that there was probably a few mistakes in this game, a couple of inaccuracies too. It was only 75% accuracy. But let's get started. I played e4, and I was trying to go for the Italian. I was, for a couple moves, both wanting to just play aggressive and trade so I could get to the end game, while also just wanting to stick to something that was grounded like the Italian. So I played the Italian, but I kind of ditched it quite quickly. But they wanted to play the Sicilian, so they played c5. And like I said, I wanted just to play the Italian, so I played knight f3. They continued the Sicilian, they played knight c6. This is where the aggression comes in. I just wanted to trade, and so I played bishop b5. Here they play a6, just trying to kick away the bishop. I was fine with that because I'm just going to take, so I take. And here in this position, I don't know if this is really a big deal, but I noticed that most of the time when I play Grand Prix and such, the theory I've learned is that you're supposed to play bxc6, but here they play dxc6. I don't know if that's like I said, I don't know if that's a big deal, but I would like to point that out. I did learn it the other way for the Sicilian. If anyone in the comments has the theory for why you would take with the D pawn over the B pawn, I would love to hear about it. But I noticed that my E pawn is not defended, and so I take a minute and I collect myself, and I just play D3 to defend the pawn. I wanted to play safe at this point. I realized I'd been tilted, and that's one of the big changes in my chess over the last couple of months, is that I used to get so pissed off. Like, anyone who's watched me for a while knows I rage on stream quite a lot. But I'm being more mindful, more demure of my chess. But the opponent wasn't, because they just hang their pawn in one move with e5. And I just take. It's a free pawn. And, like, if you notice this position, the opponent hasn't been developing their pieces. They developed the knight. But otherwise, they've just been messing with pawns, because either I've taken stuff and they've had to take and double up their pawns or something. But, like, everything's on the 8th rank right now. And I remember when I was playing this game, I was like, not at this specific moment, but later on I realized that, like, I am developing faster than they are. And it just feels weird that, like, someone that's 1400 ELO is not really as far into the chess principles as I thought they would be. I also noticed that the opponent seems to be kind of just playing whatever. Like, I feel like they knew the one Sicilian line really well, and they just, like, aren't adapting to my moves. Because they just play knight f6. They don't try to, like, do anything like bishop d6 or something like that that attacks the knight, forces me back, and also develops at the same time. I feel like they're not maximizing their use of their moves. And so in this position, I look over the pieces and I notice that the white squared bishop can come in now because the knight would support it. And they could, like, threaten my queen. One thing I did notice in the position, because I am still tilted, is that if they do play bishop g4, I just play knight x g4, and then they play knight x g4, and then I play queen x g4, and then I'm just up a piece. But in this position, like I said, I'm tilted, so I just play h3 so that the bishop can't come in the first place. And here they kind of just waste time, which is why, like I said earlier, I felt like I was just developing more, because they're wasting moves with stuff like queen d4. Like, queen d4 doesn't really do anything. It's just a false threat. Because if I just play knight back to f3, I'm attacking the queen, and my piece is safe. And I could just continue developing. And so they just go back. So now they've played 2 moves and have nothing to show for it. They still have their bishop, their knight, their rook, and their other rook are still right where they started. And now the queen is back where it started. Well, all I have to do is I have to castle, I have to put up the dark squared bishop, the other knight, and the queen, and castle. So I'm ahead now. And I just continue developing. I play knight c3. You always want to get your knights out before your bishop, if you can. That's one thing that all high players say. Just principled chess. I was tilted, so I kind of threw away my bishop, but at this point I'm trying to think a lot more of just being stable. I've been watching a lot of Capablanca, so I'm just trying to play very simple moves in my chess a lot more, because the more you complicate things at my level, the more you lose, because you can't understand the theory behind the complicated moves, and then you just lose. So next, I play oh, sorry, no, it's their move. They play bishop e7, which at this point is better than bishop d7, because then you just walk into a fork, and now they can castle, so it's not a bad move. But in my opinion, just what I'm thinking, they would have been better off moving their light squared bishop first, because getting it on more active squares where it can't just be attacked or be put in a sad position behind the knight like the dark square bishop is. I like bishop e6 most in this position. So we're on the 10th move of the game now, and I decide to just put the bishop on g5, not necessarily to take. My original intention here was just to leave it, because if they don't try and push it, and it just sits there a couple moves, it's very possible at this level still that they just forget it's there, and then they hang something. That's one thing that really got me from 1000 elo to 1100 elo fast, was I wasn't even trying to play aggressive chess. I just put my pieces on strong squares and just waited. And I got most of my games between 10 or between 1,000 and 1,100 was like 90+% because I just waited. I didn't rush, I just sat and waited for pieces to fall. But again, I'm tilted, so if they do push, I just take. Like, that was my mentality. I didn't want to let them bully me with their pawns. I was just going to take. And then my idea was to play e5, but I don't actually end up playing that right away. And like you're probably guessing, they do push with h6, and I take. And then here, they take back with the bishop, which is the right move, because, you know, damage your king's future defenses of the pawn structure. And then I castle, and they castle. Looking at this position, I feel like I'm slightly winning, simply because both of my minor pieces are developed, and I'm threatening something like e5, and they have their light squared bishop kind of just sad in the corner. Because where can you even move the light squared bishop at this point other than d7 or e6? Like, that's all you can do with it, and I feel like it would be easy to just push away from d6 in a couple moves. But here I play e5. I finally go with that tactic, and they played g5, bishop g5, and in hindsight I should have just taken, but my idea was play knight e4, try and win a free pawn, maybe that might work out. But they just play bishop e7, defending the pawn, and I have nothing here. There's really nothing I could do here, so I play just a random move. I decided to go with c4. There was no intention behind this, other than just a pawn move. Ooga booga. And they play bishop f5, attacking the knight. Their idea here is, if I don't move the knight, they take, I take with the pawn, they take the queen, I take with the rook, which, it works fine for me, because I still end up being the one with the open diagonal, or the open file, sorry. But in this position, I kind of just ignore it, and I play b3. I don't have a reason for it. I just was like, oh, push pawn. And they play queen c7. I don't know why exactly. Maybe they're thinking for some reason the pawn's hanging, but it's not. I'll play queen e2. My purpose behind this, when I played it, is if they take the knight, then I take with the queen, and then the pawn is guarded by... the e5 pawn is guarded by the knight and the queen, so it's doubly defended while also still defending the d3 pawn. In this position, they play rook a d8, looking to, if I take with the pawn, to take over the open file. I respond in kind with rook a d1. Everything I feel in this position is quite well defended, but things do spiral out of hand here in the next few moves. They play queen a5, attacking the pawn, but it's already defended, so I don't know exactly what their plan here was. I play rook d2, doubly defending the pawn and also looking to double up my rooks. So I have a stronger defense of the d3 pawn. They play f6. And I don't really like this move, but maybe it's good. But I feel that, like, I calculate that after taking with the pawn, if they take with the bishop, it's better for me because the position is slowly opening up now. So I want to get rid of bishops if I can. So they take, or I take. They do take with the bishop, and then I take the bishop with check, which they take with the rook. Next, I play knight h4, trying to take that other bishop, if they will allow me to. But they don't. They play h7, bishop h7. Now this is when I double up my rooks, so I play rook d1. Oh no, I moved the other rook. They move up their rook, so they're connected again. I play queen check. And my idea behind this is that I want that bishop super bad. So they either defend with the rook or they go in the corner, which they go in the corner with king h8. And then now they're forced to give me their bishop when I play knight g6 check. So they take and I take. So now we're down to 2 rooks each and a queen as well. And I'm looking over this position. I feel like I'm worse now because they can take the pawn on a2, and while they have doubled pawns, they can storm my pawn structure, but they don't do that. They play queen c7, and I play d rook e1. They play rook d6, attacking my queen. I move out of the way with queen e4. And this is just from here for the next, like, probably 15-20 moves. It's just a dance around with the queen and the rooks. My queen moving away from their rooks until eventually I do manage to trade them off. But they play d rook f8, connecting their rooks again. I play f3, so then they can't do anything like break through and attack, because I don't like where their queen is right now. I don't like anything that's going on. I'm kind of panicking. I'm playing a better player than me, and they're moving a lot in very powerful positions with that queen. So I play queen d6, or they play queen d6. I don't really know if there's any threat here. I didn't feel like there was. And now on the 30th move, I play queen e7, trying to get queen trade. I try quite a few times to get queen trade until I manage to actually force a queen trade. But they play queen d4 check. I move. They play rook attacking the queen. I again tried to go for a queen trade with queen e4. They don't want nothing to do with it. They go queen b2. I play rook a1, trying to defend the pawn. They play rook f4, once again trying to attack the queen. I play queen e7, just trying to get out of the way of the rook while also trying to take their c5 pawn. And they don't really see it because they play rook f7, and I take. They play queen c3. I play rook fe1, taking over the open file again. I don't have any spectacular idea, I just want to connect my rooks on the e-file. They play queen x d3. I give a check. They move. I play rook e1. They play knight f5, or queen, knight. They play rook f5. And I come back down for a queen trade. They're very adamant on not getting this queen trade though, so they play queen c2. I play rook e2, trying to challenge the queen again. They give a check. I move up. They play rook f8. And this, I looked at this position and I immediately realized that I can trade down more material and take it down to a rook endgame here by playing rook x f8, rook x f8, queen e3 check, queen takes, rook takes, and I looked at this position and realized I'm up a pawn. And if I play the endgame slow and manage to trade off all the pawns on the queen side of the board, then I have a very high chance of winning. In this position, they play rook f7, looking to defend their main pawn on the b-file that is holding the entire structure together. Sorry about that. So in this position, I play rook e3, because my next move I am planning to play a4, and then b4, and then try and trade off all those pawns. They get their king active, and they play king g6. I play a4. They play king f5. I play b4, because I know they're going to come in with king f4. They think they're sneaky, but they're not, like, at all. Which they do. I give a check. They move up. I give another check with g4. They move back, and now I can take... Oh no, I actually moved the pawn first, which I feel is a mistake. I should have actually, in hindsight, pushed king g3 and tried to come in to the position more with my king, but I don't. And they play takes, I play takes, they play takes, I play takes, and then they move over, and I looked at this position for about 5 to 10 seconds, and I could tell that by the time I took their pawn, or I took their rook, and I pushed my king up, I could take their g-pawn and promote, and I could probably promote with check, because in all likelihood I saw them going to c5 with the king. So I play takes, and they take king g3, king d6, king h4, king c5, king h5, takes, king g6, only move, c5, just as I predicted. King x g7, push, 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 push. Promotes the queen. I get the check. And now this is a game of, can I skewer you while still providing checks? Which, when I promoted, I was very confident that I could somehow sneak a skewer or some kind of forced trade. And I have their pawn right in my sights. I can take with the king, or I can somehow maneuver it with the queen in this from this position. And then I have 2 pawns. And it would be very hard, even at 1000 elo, 1100 elo, to lose if the queens are taken off the board. So when they move down to d4, I play queen f6 check. They play king e3. I play queen x h6 check, hoping that they blunder by moving either to e4 or d3 so I can get the fork. They don't. They actually see that's a bad move, and they play king f3. In this position, I play I play queen f6 check. They play king g3. I see they're trying to go for my pawn, so I play queen c3 check. And now, in this position, they could go either to g2, h2, f2, or they can go back up to f4, or they can go to h4. They decide to go to h4, and so I decide to go for a king move. Just any king move. I'm just hoping that I can survive the onslaught, because I don't want to give up that pawn on the h-file. And I don't really know at this point how I can skewer them, because they've hidden it in the hole now. They're using my pawns to prevent any kind of skewer. So they go on their check spree, and they play queen b6 check. I go f5. They go b5 check. I go queen defends. They go f1 check. I defend. And here is where the game is decided. In this position, they could continue to check. They could get some kind of stalemate, but they got greedy. And they played queen takes h3, which is losing immediately, because only move that wins is queen g5 check. Their only move is king g3, and with queen e3 check, I force the queen trade when they go back with king h4, takes, takes, and now my pawn is ahead, and I can just push that pawn straight to promotion, which I do when I play g5. And in this position, the opponent doesn't even resign. They decide to abandon the game and close the app. Don't even have the respect to resign. And that's where the game ends. So, in this game, I was very, very capable of losing, but I kept my cool and didn't let the tilt at the start of the game affect my overall chess in this game, and I pulled through and redeemed myself after 4 straight losses. All to inferior level players to 1400 elo, mind you. So I managed to show that when the conditions are right, I can still beat higher level players. That's as far as I think I'm going to go into this game. Just like last time. If there's anything you want to say for advice on me going into the details on this game, I feel like this time I went further in depth than the last game, especially because this game was more fresh. The last game was probably about a week old. This one's only about 2 days old, and it was one of the few games I played since then, as admittedly I am not playing as much as I used to. I'm kind of burnt out, and my study has just not been bearing as much fruit as I would like. But since I've been able to visualize this game and my mentality and everything in this game, I feel I've done better. But if there's any advice, I'm more than willing and happy to take it. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and for anyone who has not subscribed, I will not ask you to subscribe, but do check out my other content at least. I do a lot of edit videos for Brilliance I've gained over the last year and a half-ish I've been playing, and I did, before I did the Road to 1500, for anyone new, I used to just do regular edits for videos and shorts, and I do have a lot of good games in that, including beating a 2600 Elo bot, a 2450 bullet player, I beat a 2100 Elo player in Classical. Like, I have some pretty good level games. Please feel free to check them out. Otherwise, everyone have a good day. Peace out.